Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Bearable Bull here. And I got this aggressively average content for you today. As the Xrp Etf approval timeline is within the next couple weeks. We have to realize that this is the price catalyst for XRP. Fed rate cuts are on the way right at the exact same time XRP ETFs are supposed to be approved. And you guys think it's a coincidence. Today we saw Charlie Kirk get shot. Civil war tensions rising. Black Swan catalyst. These are all things that they do right before massive financial shifts. Remember COVID in 2020, March 2020 specifically. Remember, COVID was the excuse for why they had to cut rates. This time around, the problem, reaction, solution narrative will be built, and this Charlie Kirk death might be a catalyst for a financial shift in the background. Don't take my word for it. Just pay attention. As while these ETFs are on standby ready to launch, you need to realize that they're going to play a much bigger effect on the XRP price than anything up to this point in its history. And I want all of you to listen to Modern Investor give his perspective.
There's an ETF analyst. His name is James Seyffart. Seyffart. Real name, I believe. He's tracking these particular ETFs because he thinks that these have the biggest chance of getting the thumbs up. 92, sorry for screaming, 92. He said there are at least 92 crypto exchange-traded products, exchange-traded funds awaiting a decision from the U.S. SEC. Apparently, the most current, and I need to say that because someone's going to go, there's 24 of them. The most current sought-after ones are Solana and XRP. Yeah, remember that narrative? Solana and XRP are the most sought after ETF applications right now. Solana has 8 pending, and XRP has 7 currently pending that are in line for September, October to actually go through. I believe the total number for XRP is near 20 or something like that. And I learned the hard way because a couple of months, I think I said 12 and someone was like, it's 17. And I said, okay. Then I said 17 and someone was like, it's 21. And I was like, I get it. Please. I'm just okay. Yes. 92 freaking 2.
90 freaking 2, ladies and gentlemen. That is so much money on the way. And in addition, the macro environment for the crypto market is heating up as the Nasdaq filed with the SEC to tokenize stocks, letting investors trade equities either traditionally or on-chain with shareholder rights. This is the United States preparing for the biggest crypto bull run of all time. And the ones that have been building the rails of the next financial system. Those are the cryptos that are going to give you the most ROI. Here on the All In Podcast. Chamath Palihapitiya host the Nasdaq as they discuss how everything we've been discussing for years is finally unraveling before our very eyes. Ready to give us the maximum return on our investment.
You want to tell people what?
You think we should?
Yeah.
Okay. So, so this morning we announced that we're going to be bringing tokenization into our markets. So making sure that equities are tokenized and traded on market, in the markets, not in a side sleeve, but actually in the core markets.
So the eventual goal, or is it today? 24/7, 365 equities, just let it rip constantly.
I mean, I think we are all moving in that direction. We announced several months ago that we're moving to 24/5, so we're
24/5
moving that way.
So Saturday and Sunday, not
Not for equities yet. I think that, we have to, we're walking before we run. But I think that getting to 24.5 is a major advancement for the U.S. equities markets. And then on top of that, now with tokenization, if we can introduce that also into the markets, it allows us to really think about streamlining the post-trade processing, bringing and modernizing elements of the markets that have a lot of friction. We are hyper resilient and we're hyper scaled. We manage, like today, we had 95 billion messages come into our systems today. And we had a median, return time of 20 microseconds from order to trade. We handle like 3 million messages a second. It's hugely scaled. But then at the same time, once that trade occurs, there's a different process. And then the post-trade process, as we know, is an area where tokenization really shines. And really cutting down the friction, managing capital flows across the global ecosystem, and really bringing that capability into the markets is going to be the next.
I'm sure to get your reaction to this. There's this very famous curve, which is like you get this early font of insanity, and then there's the trough of disillusionment, and then you grow through. And does it seem like crypto is actually in blockchain? It's finally real. It's like there's real companies doing real things, stable coins, what Sachs did with the Genius Act.
Well, I actually want to point to that because, honestly, having regulators who want to work on bringing it into the mainstream and want to create the rules of the road is such a refreshing thing, because I think that it allows us all to understand how we can operate within a world where there are tenets of investor protection. The technology is going to have things we can and can't do, but also being forward thinking and forward leaning and how the technology is going to be applied is going to be critical. So we're very excited about the fact that we finally have this convergence of regulation between the traditional markets, the digital markets. How do we bring it all together to frankly advance all markets? And we're very, very excited about that.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, as you realize, the Nasdaq is ramping up on crypto adoption. You also have to see that Ripple is actively running trials with the Nasdaq. And you see how Ripple and XRP is connected underneath every financial rock you look under. This is not a game. This is not a drill. This is the real deal, Holyfield, and oh my goodness, we're gonna get so rich off this opportunity once they flip the switch.
As well, so this guy sells it to that guy. That's essentially what the stock exchange does. So if you can have a common ledger to be able to exchange those IOUs at, then that certainly makes sense. And there's examples of Korean banks partnering with local Bitcoin companies for the settlement. People like the IMF or World Bank or these kind of people are always talking about these sort of blockchain settlement systems. Nasdaq is involved in I think doing some trials with Ripple as well. So,
ladies and gentlemen, you guys are not dumb and you guys are not unaware of this opportunity before all of you. The real question is how high this price is going to go and when the exact moment we're going to make our money is. Ladies and gentlemen, over the past couple months, we saw XRP go from around 50 cents to a high of over the previous all-time high. A 6x in XRP price was achieved easily. The question is, how much higher can it go? Morgan Stanley has identified Ripple as a viable alternative to SWIFT for global payments. And I've often said on my channel, if XRP tackles SWIFT's volume, a $50 to $100 XRP price is easily attainable. Maybe not right away, but in the not too distant future. You see, I've always had a bit of a hypothesis in regards to the XRP price. I feel like there's a technical analysis XRP price that will be achieved. One where we have the historical patterns of XRP give us the price with the 4236 Fibonacci extension. And these technicals must be respected. However, I think there is going to be a geopolitical XRP price. One where the utility of a coin is actually going to show itself, to be distinguished from previous price histories. I think XRP will be the first coin to be utilized in a mass scale to transcend market cap, to transcend technical analysis. and to make the network adoption, the Internet of Value, the true metric for how high this thing is going to fly. Ladies and gentlemen, if we take on Swift's volume in any capacity at all, the sky is the limit. And there's no coincidence that Nasdaq is going to invest $50 million in Gemini right after Gemini issued their XRP card. All the stars are aligning for the perfect XRP storm. The White House crypto advisor Patrick Witt called for Swift's stablecoin law rollout, market structure bills, and a U.S. crypto reserve. This is on the way, as the SEC is simultaneously building a crypto task force that is going to discuss the convergence of crypto and AI. Ladies and gentlemen, the convergence of crypto infrastructure and AI development is going to be something that makes unbelievable ROI in the crypto market and something you need to stay ahead of. But for right now, this is the best hint we're going to get. It's only a matter of time. And I personally believe 2026 is going to be the year where AI truly disrupts everything in the world. Now, that being said, my friends, the disturbance of money is on the way. Stablecoins are here, and RLUSD specifically is gaining traction in the top 100 in terms of market cap on coinmarketcap.com. Ripple is expanding at a fast rate in Asia, as evidenced by recent Weba's XRP applications in China and SBI Holdings. The Japanese market will be adopting RLUSD. Here in America, it's coming. Other international stablecoins will arrive. And the XRP price is going to shoot up in value with a bang in short order.
A continent that is rapidly adopting this technology, and that is Asia. Now, this is from Reuters. This came out over the past 24 hours. It says, Weebus International signed strategic partnership with Air China, unlocking access to over 60 million members and introducing future XRP payment solutions. We are going to read this. We're also going to be recapping on the fact that China's largest or number one supply chain finance platform, and you can see this is highlighted here, is essentially going to integrate the XRP ledger to help with their kind of cross-border settlements and to kind of tokenize invoices and things like this. So this is a major company out of China also adopting this. We also know about Thunes, again, came out 48 hours ago, thereabouts. They're one of the largest out of Singapore. We also know a lot about, like what Brad Garlinghouse hinted at there, what Japan is doing. So I do want to read this article. Before I do that, to understand Swift and the monopoly that they have right now, there are countries out there that probably feel they don't have a choice other than to use Swift. And if an alternative was offered up, they perhaps would. What I want to do is remind people, and I think we've been on a journey since then, the fact that Swift was actually used and kind of weaponized against Russia in regards to their involvement in the Ukraine war. Now, I don't want to get into whether this was right or wrong for a global payment provider to do this. That's not what we're here to discuss. What we're here to discuss is the fact that them doing that would have essentially created enemies in regards to people wanting to use and utilize Swift. When you kind of unplug somebody, and this was global news when it came out, from the global world of finance, and they have to look for alternatives. And allies, through perhaps fears that this may take place to them, are also going to be doing the same. And when we're talking about kind of adoption in China, you know, you could see perhaps a reason, like they kind of be doing with BRICS, why they might want to explore a kind of neutral system, a system that solely relies on a technology. And this is all part of the broader plan.
And ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. You should be extremely excited to be owning the best digital asset ever created. And tomorrow, the first spot XRP ETF goes live. The Rex Osprey Spot XRP ETF is set to launch September 12th, marking a significant milestone as the first spot exchange traded fund in the United States is going live. The SEC completed its 75-day review period without objections, and this ETF, which directly holds XRP tokens rather than futures contracts, aims to improve retail and institutional investors with a regulated exposure to XRP through traditional brokerage accounts, simplifying access without the need for crypto wallets or exchanges. Ladies and gentlemen, this is all coming to fruition. Every piece of XRP news that we've been profoundly early on has been to get you all ready for the inevitability of this explosive bull market. XRP will be a market leader in ROI this cycle, and I can't stress that enough. Now guys, to cap off this video for today, if you haven't done so already, on my OnlyFans at onlyfans.com/thebearablebull, I'm releasing the #1 investment opportunity in crypto that I think everyone is sleeping on, that I think in the short term will be a nice 10 to 20x on your investment. Now that is not financial advice, and I am not a financial advisor, but you should still follow that anyway. Now guys, if you want my personal advice on how you want to go about this bull market, it's all about infrastructure and having your ducks in a row, your exchanges ready, your wallets ready, and everything in perfect alignment. If you haven't done so already, please get a decent hardware wallet, which I believe has some of the best crypto options for storage on the planet. It has a wide array of cryptos you could store on this device with a higher level of security, in my personal opinion, than the Ledger wallet. You could get the access to the Decent wallet in the description below. And finally, if you haven't done so already, you must subscribe to Caleb and Brown to be your #1 go-to exchange for this crypto bull run. Never in the history of my channel have I partnered with any exchange despite numerous offers. I got offers from FTX. I got offers from BlockFi, Celsius, and other exchanges. And we know what happened with those three. I am very careful with recommending platforms on my channel and never have. However, the reason I'm recommending Caleb and Brown as my first ever crypto exchange partnership is because of their vast array of excellent altcoins that they have on their platform that I personally really enjoy using. And because of this versatility in coins, it will make a powerful impact in all of your ability as American retail investors to diversify your portfolios to some cryptos you may not have had access to on some of the exchanges you guys already have. Caleb and Brown is based out of Australia, and they're taking clients all over the world. In addition, a lot of crypto exchanges have withdrawal limits. And one of my favorite things about Caleb and Brown is that I'll be able to make 7-figure withdrawal limits per day during the peak of the bull market. They're not going to be shutting down and halting withdrawals like Coinbase and all these other shit exchanges right in the peak of the market. I'm tired of all this nonsense. But with Caleb and Brown, they won't be doing this because they put customer service first. They have 24/7 support, and they put you with their own broker for every single one of you. Ladies and gentlemen, don't get it twisted. I don't recommend things I don't 100% believe in on this channel. And I believe the customer service you're going to receive with this exchange for your crypto gains is going to be immaculate when you need it most. Because we know the XRP army is going to get their bank money. And we know we're going to have an altcoin rotation of epic proportions. Having your infrastructure ready for when the bull market hits its peak ahead of time is what you need to do to succeed in crypto, as I've been in numerous cycles and I know that that's the case. and getting signed up right now today in the description below is going to help guarantee your crypto success. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Bearable Bull here. Thanks for tuning in. As always, I appreciate every single one of you. Now I'll be back tomorrow with another video.